I'm not sold. I'm sorry.
Unapologetic.
I'm not trying to talk about him.
Unlike anyone else.
But knowing y'all
will probably make me.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the second edition of the new Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you over the airwaves of SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. The number to call up, as always, is 888-MAD-DOG-6. That's 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. Once again, I am back in the house. My show debuted yesterday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Coast Time. Can't thank y'all enough for the love and support. Let me reiterate, just for the sake of our audience, what you're going to expect from me this week and what you should expect from me every day. I love being back on radio. I love having this platform. I want to thank everybody at SiriusXM for the love and support that they have given me. It has been absolutely phenomenal. Can't thank y'all enough. Keep the love coming, and I'm going to keep on coming. I also love callers. I love listeners. I love people who think that you'll see somebody on national TV every day the way that you see me, and that suddenly I'm going to hide. I'm going to look to escape. I'm going to look to duck for cover. Hell to the no. That's not my mentality. That's not my attitude. I love taking callers. And who does it better than radio in terms of a format? No question about that. So the callers, I'm giving you the number to call up. 888-MAD-DOG-6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646, 888-623-3646. There's a lot to get into, and I'm going to spend a vast majority of this week without guests, even though I got somebody coming on in just a couple of minutes just to rake my damn nerves. It's what he does. You'll know who it is once he gets on the show in just a couple of minutes. But the order of business today, again, I try to avoid talking about the Cowboys sometimes, believe it or not, but damn it, they're just a gift that keeps on giving. Jerry Jones showed up on Good Morning America. I'll get into that in a second. We've got Valdez, a pitcher for the Houston Astros, plucking his own damn catcher. We got that to get into. Oh, and I cannot wait to touch on Kawhi Leonard of the Los Angeles Clippers. Wait till I tell you, trust you me, when I tell you the news that pertains to him. You might not find yourself too interested in listening about the Clippers, but trust me, this story resonates and extends far beyond the lines of basketball itself or even professional sports. I can't wait to tell y'all what's going on about him. And by the way, before this show ends today, I'm going to shock the audience, probably offend some people. Sorry, I'm going to do it, but it's necessary. Everybody talking about Taylor Swift being the halftime show for the Super Bowl. I'm not a Swiftie, but I got love for her because of concert, the Eras Tour. I went there twice. I dropped over $20,000 for my daughters, okay, and their friends, okay. Some would say I got robbed, I got hosed. I'm telling you, I didn't. The Eras Tour was sensational. Taylor Swift was sensational. It's just spectacular. I got to give her love and props, but in the end, there is somebody out there that needs to be the halftime performance for the Super Bowl. And it might be an unpopular choice, but I'm going to say who that person should be, and I'm going to mean it. So I just want y'all to know that coming up. Anyway, let me get to this real quick. Jerry Jones showed up on Good Morning America. I interviewed him one-on-one for this show right here just a couple of weeks ago, and he had a lot to say then. He hasn't stopped. He's still Jerry Jones. He's out there talking, promoting America's team, the Gambler, and his Cowboys on Netflix, by the way, which is a damn good series. Michael Irvin stole the show. No surprise there, but Michael Irvin stole the show, no doubt. But I want to say that Jerry Jones was doing a lot of talking. And every single time he opened his mouth, I found myself laughing. I said, just the latest piece of evidence that the Dallas Cowboys are going to do a damn thing this year. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm at the point where I got them coming in last place. Last place in the NFC East. That's right, I said it. Because I'm looking at the Giants. Jackson Dart is second on the QB2 on the depth chart behind Russell Wilson at your quarterback spot. Neighbors is big time. Their defense is supposed to be big time. Abdul Carter's supposed to be that dude. And the New York Giants may luck up and make some noise. And the Dallas Cowboys, without Micah Parsons, what the hell am I to expect of their defense? So I'm looking at it from that standpoint. And Jerry Jones can explain stuff away till the cows come home. He can really, really do it. Be my guest. Feel free. I'm not buying it. Now, some people see me out there trolling the Dallas Cowboys. No, it's their fans. Because I consider Dallas Cowboy fans the most disgusting, nauseating fan base in American history. And I'll never apologize for that. But I got love for them nevertheless because they're the gift that keeps on giving. I can't help it that it makes me laugh every time I see them cry. I can't help that it brings me joy every time I see them miserable. I mean, I just love it. Because nobody is more arrogant and more disillusioned than a Cowboy fan who religiously walks around like they're Super Bowl champions, even though they haven't even been to an NFC championship game in 29 years. 29 seasons. But I digress. Jerry Jones was on TV because the Dallas Cowboys open the season against the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow night, Thursday night, the season opener for the NFL 2025 season, where the Eagles will win, by the way. Sorry to strip y'all of the suspense. The Eagles gonna beat them up. Make no mistake about it. You can look at Dak Prescott, highest paid quarterback in the league. You can look at CeeDee Lamb, third highest paid wide receiver in the league. You can look at all of these dudes and come up with whatever you want to come up with. It ain't happening. Dallas ain't winning this year. That's right. I'm saying it straight up. But Jerry Jones has different thoughts. He had several thoughts when he was on Good Morning America today. Sean, play Jerry Jones talking to Good Morning America, please.
The effort to make the docuseries had us retracing a lot of our years and my steps. And a part of that steps was a very significant effort to have treatments in several places.
I don't know what the hell he was talking about there. That was almost a Trump moment when he was on the debate stage in June 27th of 2024 talking about Joe Biden, the president at the time. Where you remember that part when Donald Trump said, I don't know what he said. I don't think he knows what he said. That's how I felt listening to Jerry right there. But there was more. Go ahead, Sean, play it.
Cowboys fans have a lot of feelings about it. Do you feel like this is going to be a turning point in getting the Cowboys back to the championship?
We have two kinds of capital or currency in the NFL. One of them is draft picks, and the other is the financial, because every team is limited to the same amount of resources to spend. And having said that, Micah enabled us to have 4, possibly as many as 6 players for the future. That's a good trade when you need numbers. I'll take the numbers every time.
If you take the numbers every time, why didn't you take the numbers that you could have had in your favor by moving Micah earlier in the spring? Because if you moved him in the spring, obviously there's cap space, but most importantly, you would have had him on an open market. Chances are you would have gotten better than the 2 late first-round picks that you got from Green Bay, along with defensive tackle Kenny Clark, who's like a middle-of-the-road defensive tackle according to NFL stats. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? Doesn't seem to make any sense. Really, really doesn't. But Jerry doesn't have to make sense when you're the number 1 brand in sports. So says Jerry, evidently. Take a listen to this.
I'm the number 1 salesman of the NFL, and I love the game, and I can see where it's many aspects of it are just bigger than life and can be shown, and our fans can get to be a part of that beyond when just we score a touchdown.
You heard him right there. And I did tell y'all yesterday when we talked, the Cowboys are worth $13 billion. Jerry Jones himself is worth $16 billion. They have been the number 1 brand in all of sports for 19 straight years. And on top of all of that, they had an operating revenue of over $629 million last season alone. They're worth $13 billion. Nobody is within $2.5 billion of them. The Rams are number 2 at $10.5 billion. The New York Giants are third at $10.1 billion, which is another news story that the Giants are worth that much. I know they're in the media capital of the world, even though they're really not, because East Rutherford, New Jersey ain't New York City. But I digress. The point is, they are what they are. But in the end, we have to look at them. We have to walk around with a level of trepidation. Because right now, you got people asking yourself, what is it that Jerry is really, really about? Is he about the headlines? Is he about making money, or is he about winning Super Bowl championships? We all know it's the former because there's no proof of the latter. And right now, people are hard-pressed to deny it, even though they try religiously to do so. It's getting harder and harder and harder to deny it. But Troy Aikman did his part in doing so when he spoke to Rich Eisen yesterday on Rich Eisen's show on Disney+. Because Troy Aikman was talking about Jerry Jones. And he was talking about expectations or lack thereof. He was talking about these things. And I'm looking at Jerry Jones and I'm looking at Troy Aikman and I'm saying, what the hell is going on? Troy Aikman said, quote, I saw Jerry talk about the fact that having the Cowboys as a discussion point is meaningful to him. And if people aren't talking about the Cowboys, then he'll do things to stir it up. So he kind of walked into that and has given the impression that that supersedes winning. In some ways, I'm sure Jerry and the Jones family and everyone is tired of the fact that they haven't been to a championship game, let alone a Super Bowl in 30 years. So then when you deflect that, then essentially the valuation of your franchise or the attention and the exposure or the drama, or as Jerry said, the fact that the Cowboys are a soap opera 365 days a year, then that becomes the scoreboard instead of winning and losing on the field. And do I think that winning is not important to Jerry Jones? Not at all. I think Jerry wants to win more than anything else, and I think he's very exhausted of the fact that this team, although they won a lot of regular season games, but yet they've only won 4 playoff games, and that's hard to stomach. I'm thinking about a quarterback getting paid $60 million that has won 2 playoff games in 10 years. I'm thinking about the Dallas Cowboys letting go of Rico Dowdle because he was going to cost them 1 year and $6 million. And instead think they did something by getting this cat Williams from the Denver Broncos for 1 year and $3 million. I'm thinking about you letting an all-world defensive player that's only 26 years of age walk out the door against the will of so many people within the Dallas Cowboys franchise. And now I'm hearing reports that, oh, he must have been cancerous in the locker room. He must have been bad for the culture. I'm sick and tired of all of that stuff happening. The second a player has the audacity, the unmitigated gall to sit up there and quantify his own value and say, this is what I deserve based on what the market is. And you got other people saying they're under contract. And speaking of people that say they're under contract, that's the next guest that I'm going to bring on in just a couple of minutes because he's famous for saying such things. It's hard to listen to him. It's hard to take, but I'm going to try anyway. But I want to say this. Dallas could make it interesting because the one thing that I think has transpired is that Jerry Jones has said, I'm paying that damn Micah Parsons $60 million. I doled out these dollars for this quarterback. I'll be damned if I'm not going to put it on his shoulders and say, don't make me look like a fool. Go out there and handle your business. I think that's what he's doing when it comes to Dak Prescott. He's saying, Dak Prescott, you're my quarterback. CeeDee Lamb, only Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson get paid more than you in the National Football League at your position. What's the problem? Handle your business. I also went out and got George Pickens for the Pittsburgh Steelers for you. And we're going to discuss George Pickens at some point as the weeks progress because he's approaching free agency and he's going to be looking to get his money. And in order for Jerry to keep him, you're going to have to deal with agent David Mulugeta, who represents Micah Parsons, the guy that you didn't want to talk to when Micah was asking you to talk to him. So you got all of that going on. It seems like a mess, but it is something that Dak Prescott can alleviate. All Dak Prescott has to do, ladies and gentlemen, is emulate Joe Burrow. Go out there and throw for nearly 5,000 yards. Throw for 43 touchdowns. Be number 1 in passing yards and touchdown passes. Be top 3 in QBR. Do that, and you good. But we all know we don't expect that much from Dak Prescott, do we? Now when you got to go up against Jalen Hurts to open the season, and Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley, and a top offensive line in the National Football League, who's going to put it on that defense that don't have Micah Parsons to pressure the quarterback for him. Things are going to get very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait. The number to call up is 888-MAD-DOG-6. That's 888-623-3646. I got a lot of stuff to get into because the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys open the season tomorrow night. Got a game in Brazil Friday. Okay, we got the season this Sunday. NFL game Sunday night. Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens. That's a must-watch. Monday, J.J. McCarthy, of all peoples, the new quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, and they going up against the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. Hopefully he ain't going to get sacked 68 times this year, 16 more than any other quarterback in the National Football League. We got a whole bunch of stuff to get into. What's y'all best game of the week? What's the game y'all looking forward to more than anything else on the schedule for week 1 of the NFL season? We can get into all of that and then some. But not before I get to my next guest. He'll be here in a minute. I'll give you a hint. He's a pain in the ass. He's the namesake for the channel. And I love him anyway. Mad Dog Russo's in my house, in my new studios. just trying to invade, take over. He's over there eating some Dunkin' Donuts or something. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but he'll be here in a second. Back with more of the Stephen A. Smith Show in a minute.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. The second day of the Stephen A. Smith Show, which debuted on SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio just yesterday afternoon, Tuesday, September 2nd. And the word Mad Dog comes to mind because obviously everybody knows this dude that's been crazy for decades and, you know, just screaming at everybody. And I'm called the angry one. But this dude, you understand what I'm saying? He's celebrated, you know what I'm saying? There's all mad all the time. The one and only Mad Dog Russo. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I was waiting for Ed McMahon to introduce me with this beautiful studio that you have here.
Well, thank you so much, man.
What a spot. My goodness gracious.
It's kind of nice.
He owns the building, folks, down in Lower Manhattan. I mean, I know he's doing well, but I didn't know what they pay you to work at Sirius.
It's not the build. It's not the builder, but Sirius is paying me nice. They're paying me nice. I can't deny that. I can't deny that. It's a nice check.
I would hope it would be.
It's a nice check.
Nice to see you.
It's good to see you. So how do you know? I mean, before we get into little sports, you know, because I wanted to have you here because I'm doing the show from my new studio for the first time, and we just finished doing our television gig together on First Take. You know, like we do every Wednesday mornings, and having you here, I just wanted you to tell the world how wonderful you're feeling that I'm a part of the Mad Dog family. I want you to tell
our whole lineup. I was thinking about it.
Adam Shine.
Our whole, I mean, Katie there.
Yeah, Katie.
I mean, the morning guys.
Katie's
our whole
wonderful.
lineup is very good right now.
That's right.
We got a big time lineup, and you, of course, add an awful lot to it at 1 o'clock, and you're into it, I can tell. You will bring guests that we won't normally be able to get on. You're great at that. So we're a heavyweight channel. Who would have thought this 16 years ago? But give the company credit. They have invested. And you love the radio. People don't realize that Stevie loves the radio. And I'll tell you something that's interesting. You know, we got that little Monica from Allentown thread. I was telling you about that earlier today. And all the callers and fans, but callers follow this thread. There's probably about 100 people on there.
Right.
And they all called me yesterday and said how much they enjoyed you.
I appreciate that.
And Sam in Pennsylvania called and said he wants to be called Sam in Hershey because he's in Hershey. He doesn't like the Pennsylvania moniker.
Yeah, that is true. It's very broad.
Yeah, so he wants
Hershey
Hershey
specific, so he wants that.
So if he calls it Sam from Hershey.
I got you.
But they were very into it, so we should have a good little family here for a long time.
So why did you try to dime me out yesterday? Why you tell the world, you know, don't expect me to pop back on because the show re-airs from 6 to 8 p.m. And don't expect me to pop back on and talk about the Mariners. I cracked up laughing.
Mariners Detroit.
Probably not that. But I'll be back long enough. I'll be back enough time.
Well, we are concerned. We are concerned.
Right.
And we know how omnipresent you are, but
Yes.
we are concerned that if something happens in the middle of the day,
Right.
That's not Thunder Trailblazers.
That's right.
That you will be in a situation
Right.
where you can do, whether it's a monologue, whether it's something, if something significant happens, and that's possible.
Of course.
Between that time of the day. Now, during the weekend, it's no issue, but on Monday,
only thing that would stop me
Friday.
is if I'm traveling. Only thing that would stop me is because you know us, we're in the news business. I can't stand the news breaking and I'm not a part of it.
I know you want to be a part of it. You want to have your say.
You definitely want to have a platform, want to have your say. Let's transition because I know you only got a few minutes because you got to hustle up to Midtown to do your own damn show. So let's get that out the way right now. Mr. Baseball. How did you feel about Valdez?
Yeah, I mean,
hitting his own catcher Salazar last night.
Very
with the
difficult.
Astros. What was that about?
I didn't like the Rockies-Giants thing either, but the Valdez thing, he was frustrated. He was told by the young catcher to step off the mound. He doesn't step off the mound. He throws a pitch and Grissom. And the Yankees hadn't beaten Houston in a long time, and I was going to kill Aaron Boone today.
That's right.
But they won because Boone was at the North Carolina game on
Watching
Monday night.
Belichick get trounced.
And I said, Boone, you should be at the Astro-Angel game in the daytime, the scout. Because they never beat Houston. But then he turns around and wins the game, so I can't say anything. But I was a little I'm going to give Valdez a little break. He's been a pretty good Astro. But, if he did that to Carlton Fisk, that would be ugly.
Yeah.
Or Johnny Bench or Thurman Munson.
They came from behind the plate and punched him in the face. Punched their own teammate in the face right in the middle of the game.
It's disrespectful.
Right.
I mean, it was disrespectful. Then the next pitch, he throws a fastball when the catcher was expecting, obviously, a changeup. Right. Then he denies there was a problem after the game. The whole world knew there was something something going on.
Right.
Don't deny it.
Well, what's your problem with the Rockies and the Giants fighting? What was that about? Why would you complain about something like that?
Well, Devers takes forever to hit. He hit a home run. He hasn't done a lot this year.
You've been holding it against him because he refused to play first base for the Boston
That
Red Sox
bothered
before
me.
he got him traded.
And then that was one of the reasons why. And he's making $255 million a year. $255 million.
They
Steve,
promised him
when they pay you that kind of money and they ask you to pick up a glove and play first base, you know what? You pay the first base.
I think he should
Give
have
it a
as well.
try.
But
Give
he
it a
was
try.
talking about what they promised him, what they wanted him to do, and him
nonsense.
playing out of position. He might have been in a position to make himself look bad, and he was concerned about that.
How could you be concerned about being disrespected when they're paying you $255 million?
That's fair.
And furthermore, Freeland, getting annoyed because he's taking too long to run the bases. The Giants and Rockies are bad. The Giants have been very disappointing. Colorado's a pathetic team. End the season quietly.
Okay.
All right? And you got 20 games to go. Play out the season. Leave me with your tail between your legs, and we'll see you next spring training. And they made a big how do you do with the home run, so I was a little down on it. But back to Valdez. You be the better guy to ask. Do you think Valdez, who's been a good pitcher, do you think he was completely out of line by showing up his catcher?
I thought he was completely out of line. I understood his frustration. But damn it, a 95 mile per hour fastball is a 90 mile per hour
Could have hurt him.
fastball. He could have hurt him. Now, I will say this. You, Salazar, you're a catcher in Major League Baseball. It ain't Stephen A. kneeling behind the plate. It's you, damn it.
Well, Stephen A. pitching.
That's right. Certainly, I wouldn't have reached the plate if it was me. The point is that you lift your glove up. You got to be able to lift your glove up fast enough. You're a catcher. You're a professional catcher in Major League Baseball. How the hell a fastball hit you and go by your glove and hit it in the face, hit you right in your chest just because you were expecting a changeup? Come on, I don't want to hear that. You're a professional Major League Baseball catcher.
And he's not Nolan Ryan. Valdez doesn't throw the ball that hard. Yeah, I mean, I understand that.
Or Randy Johnson.
Or Randy Johnson, better example because he's left-handed. But, I mean, bottom line is Valdez was wrong. He can't show up here. It's not – you threw the pitch that Grissom hit the grand slam on. He was wrong. I'll give him a little break because he's been a very good Astro. He's basically stayed out of, he's been a good guy. But I understand. It looked bad. And I'm down on Devers because, he hasn't done great he's had a good year, but he hasn't been as dramatic for the Giants as we thought. The Red Sox have played well without him. And the Rockies are, Steve, the Rockies, they're the 76ers in the early 70s, 9-72. You know that famous team that you probably covered?
Good.
You know?
I did not. I'm too young for that. I'm not your age, but go ahead.
Freddie Carter and Steve Mix and that horrendous team.
Yeah.
I think Gene Shoemay coached that team. But, I mean, they were 9-72.
They were horrible.
I mean, the Rockies are that bad. I mean, so I don't like them making a big deal about a home run when you've given up a lot of home runs all year.
Yeah, but
don't make a big deal about this
interesting. It was the one thing that the Giants and the Rockies have provided for us of interest this year. I mean, there's a reason to talk about them.
That's a good point,
too.
We
certainly wouldn't be talking about them now,
so
I'll say
point.
that. Let me ask you this. Let me transition to a different subject because I'm watching this playoff picture unfold in Major League Baseball. I think the Milwaukee Brewers look sensational. They're a team to be reckoned with. I happen to love when the Padres and the Dodgers go up against one another. I just love it. I wish
good rivalry.
I wish that was the NLC. I wish that to be the NLCS, but I will also say this. I'm a native New Yorker. I root for the Mets against anybody but the Yankees, but I root for the Yankees. I'm a diehard Yankee fan. Weeks ago, I thought Aaron Boone was done. Then the Yankees go on a 6-game streak, but in the same breath, it's against weaker competition who they're accustomed to beat up on. Their fielding is not impressive. Their bullpen that was supposed to be stellar, particularly after
all those
trades, that hasn't panned out. But I still find myself thinking the Yankees are going to go further than the Mets because the competition in the National League is stiffer. What about you?
It's an excellent point. And remember one thing, Steve, about that first week, ESPN has the wild card round. Right. The last year we're going to have it because they're going to, ESPN's not going to do the wild card next year. But think about it. You might have, quite possibly in the wild card round, the Cubs, the Padres, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and Houston.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those are big franchises. I mean,
No
Milwaukee's going to get a bye. Toronto's got a good chance to get a bye.
Yep.
And the Phillies might get a bye, which is another big team. But you're going to have a lot of best of threes. That week is going to be I mean, you might have the Mets and the Dodgers in a playoff series.
You're going to hear me talking more baseball than ever before.
Yankees, Red Sox.
That's right.
You might have a Yankee-Red Sox.
The Yankees, I don't want that. They're 2-8 against the Red Sox this year. I've never seen them get stumped like this by the Red Sox.
That's a good thing on Boone. If the Yankees do make the playoffs and then get stumped by the Red Sox in a 2-game series, we'll see what Hal does. That could be dangerous.
He probably. Listen.
I don't think he's going to fire him, but he'd be tempted.
Weeks ago, I thought Boone was done. I mean, the way when I saw Volpe throw it from the shortstop into the stands, I said, this is over. I'm seeing, you're trying to pick off a runner at first base, and you throw it to the first baseman who's 20 feet off the bag. Against the Marlins, you sit up there, don't get me started. I just look at it from that standpoint. I say the Yankees are not that impressive, but I will say this. If they beat the Red Sox in the postseason,
that would carry Boone.
That would carry Boone.
I agree with that.
How far you think? I thought my boy Jeff in California is listening right now. How far you think the Mets are going?
Well, I think your first question there is very interesting because the NL, you could see the Dodgers getting to the World Series. You could see Milwaukee getting to the World Series. You can see the Phillies getting to the World Series. San Diego. You can see and the Mets.
Okay.
In the American League, there's nobody. Detroit doesn't, you got to, I'm not sure about Detroit. They've had a great year. They got a big pitcher, but they don't score a ton of runs. Seattle's been terrible. Houston is not great. Toronto has no bullpen. I mean, the American League is wide open.
It's wide open.
So I think it's, as you said, a much harder path for the Mets than it is for the, than it is for the Yankees because the Yankees have an easier path. One thing, Steve, that you got that you think about with baseball, it's like the NBA, same thing. The thing that worries you about Milwaukee is they don't have any dominant players. They don't get a dominant pitcher. They don't have a dominant offensive player. And that's what the Mets have. Soto's a dominant player.
Yes, he is. Especially in the postseason. Lindor's no joke.
I mean,
Pete Alonso's no joke either now.
Good one. He won games last year.
Yes, he did.
Harper with the Phillies.
Right.
Schwarber's got 50 homers.
And these two new young pitchers, McLean and Tong.
That would help the Mets.
That's going to help the Mets.
And then
but they're going to need it.
And then, then they're going to need it. And then the Dodgers have the Ohtani, the Betts, and the Freemans. So those teams in the NL have big players that can, in a 3-game series, carry you. Milwaukee doesn't have that.
That's true.
They're more of a group that all has to do their little piece.
Gotcha.
While Freeman can get up there in the bottom of the first inning, hit a 3-run homer, and the Dodgers win the game.
Yeah.
Brewers don't have that necessarily. So that's why the Brewers are a little shaky.
So basically what you're telling New Yorkers everywhere is that the Yankees have a better chance of getting to the World Series than the Mets.
I do. The Yankees, that American League is very up in the air. I think the Mets are better.
Yes.
But I think the Yankees have a little easier path.
I'm putting you on the spot. Last question before you get on out here because you got a show to start at 3 o'clock. Mad Dog Russo, if I put you on the spot today and said who's going to meet in the World Series, who are you picking? No, stop with that hesitation.
That's a tough one. I picked the Cincinnati-Detroit Super Bowl for you today. I thought that was something different. Got off the Ravens for crying out loud. You and those Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens going to win it.
Yeah, but I took, I'll still take the Dodgers. I think they can galvanize. I'll take L.A., and, I would have taken Seattle a little while ago, but they've been so freaking bad.
Who you got? Dodgers versus who?
I'm not taking the Yankees.
No, I can't either.
I'll take the Tigers. I'll take Struble will pitch well. It's a short series. They're going to get a bye. They don't have to play the wild card. I'm not confident, but I'll take. Are you happy you're here, by the way, Mad Dog?
I'm ecstatic. It feels good to be back on radio.
You love the radio.
I love mingling with the callers and listeners. I love going back and forth with them. People in my position usually don't like that kind of stuff. I love it. So that makes me very, very excited about it. I'm going to be talking about everything.
Will you be able to get yourself juiced up after doing 2 hours of TV, an hour off, and then 2 more hours of radio? It's a lot of work.
With ease.
With ease.
With ease, because this is not, it's what I love to do.
So no problem whatsoever.
Zero. Like zero, below zero. I'm always ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
You're the best. Great to have you part of the family.
I'm not afternoon drive 3 to 6. That's you, Mr. Hall of Famer. Are you ready?
I'll get through the shows. I'm not going to be here. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to be here forever. Don't be shocked if you're the one who they build the channel.
Please, let me tell you something. If anybody could get me to be back on the air at 6 p.m., after I did it from 1 to 3, it's you, because you get on my last damn nerves with half the takes you get. So I'll come back on the air just to refute anything you say.
And he listens more than you think, so I should be rough at 5:30.
There you go. How about that? Take it easy, buddy.
I love you, buddy.
The one and only Mad Dog Russo right here with Stephen A. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number. Call us 888-623-3646. Back with your calls and more. And don't forget, I got a lot to get into about that damn Kawhi Leonard. I can't wait to tell y'all about that story. I can't wait. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Mad Dog Sports Radio. Back with more in a minute.
Think you have what it takes to debate Stephen A? Call the show at 888 Mad Dog 6. Here's Stephen A. Smith.
39 minutes past the hour, number one of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you every weekday over the airways of SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, channel 82. Number to call up, as always, is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. 888 Mad Dog 6. Let's get to the calls right now. Let's go to Sam. Oh, damn, in Utah. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Sam? How are you?
Hey, Stephen A. Yeah, you know that there's people in Utah, but
I know. Hold on, Sam.
Hold on,
Sam. I've been to Utah. Right. Can you hear me, Sam? Can you hear me? I've been to Utah on many occasions. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. Okay, so I mean, I know there are people there. The Marriott downtown is where I used to stay all the time, right down the block from the Delta Center before y'all changed the name of it. So there you go. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you know, when it comes to Micah Parsons, I've always felt that his production has never really matched his hype. And I feel like I kind of compare it to, you know, in the NBA, a lot of people compare Anthony Edwards to Michael Jordan, as well as Parsons to Lawrence Taylor. And I just feel like I got to see a little bit more than one postseason sack before I can believe that Green Bay is a lock for the Super Bowl.
Let me respond to that. Number one, you are right from the standpoint that the expectations of Micah Parsons and comparing them to Lawrence Taylor was a bit excessive and a bit extreme. But I don't recall people actually comparing it. I looked at them saying the modern day version of what LT was has arrived in Micah Parsons. And in his first 4 years in the NFL, he never had less than 12 sacks. He was one of the top 5 sack leaders in the National Football League. He was a terror for quarterbacks that you had to game plan against the Dallas Cowboys. He was your primary focus on the defensive side of the ball. There's no doubt about that. He wasn't stout against the run, and he certainly didn't prevent the Dallas Cowboys from getting sent home early in the postseason. So in that regard, that's absolutely positively true. But we also got to take this into account. Lawrence Taylor was in the league for 4 years before the New York Giants really started making noise themselves. Let's not forget that. You can't take away from Micah Parsons what he brings to the table. His speed, his athleticism, his agility, his ability to get at the quarterback. He just wasn't stout against the run. But the Dallas Cowboys haven't been stout against anything when it really counts because there's a black cat running around that franchise. And so we all know this. You can't just point the finger at him and act like he's a problem. And what you don't do is you don't lose him. Doggy pointed out today on television that in Lawrence Taylor's 3rd year in New York, they were 3-12-1. 3-12-1. That was Bill Parcells' first year. What happened? Okay, they didn't trade Lawrence Taylor. They knew they had a gift in him. You would like to have believed that the Dallas Cowboys would have known they had a gift in Micah, but that's not what happened. And that's what we're talking about, Sam. So I look at it that way. But I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Let's go to Mark in Sacramento. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Mark? How are you?
Good morning, Stephen A.
Talk to me, man.
It's been 15 years, but we've spoken before. You used to be on Fox Sports with Deb Carson at 3 a.m. California time, and we used to talk 2 or 3 times.
That is true.
About all kinds of sports. So
that
I just
is true.
wanted to say, welcome back, man.
Thank you, man.
Looking forward to your basketball opinions. I usually hang out on NBA radio, but I'm sure we're going to have some basketball talk.
No doubt. Back. I appreciate that.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate the love, man. Thank you. Keep on listening. Let's go to Dana in Richmond. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Dana?
What's up, Stephen A., man? It's a pleasure to talk to you, man.
I appreciate it.
I go back to what my main man, Stuart Scott on ESPN. He was in the other side of the pillar.
No doubt.
Always been a fan of yours.
Thank you,
Let me get to my point right quick.
Please do.
My brother, he a Cowboy fan. He also a Knicks fan.
Okay.
I equate the Cowboy fans and the Knicks fans. Y'all all the same.
No, we're
all
not.
the same.
No, we're not.
Every year, especially now. Y'all gonna get the chip. I heard you yesterday, Stephen A. Man, Boston heard you. This might be the year for the Knicks, did it? Y'all just like them Cowboy fans and the Knicks, just like the Cowboys.
Okay,
man.
let me give you facts because you just trying to troll right now, and I don't blame you because your brother probably got on your damn nerves all of these years as being a Cowboy fan. So I get it. I understand, Dana. I ain't faulting you for it. But here's my retort, okay? And here it is: the New York Knicks and a New York Knicks fan base walked around for decades, fully knowing we suck. We know we suck. We know we stink. Okay? There ain't a New York Knicks fan alive that didn't lament the ownership of James Dolan, the 20 years of ineptitude. Don't even get me started. We all knew that, okay? We knew that Jordan was going to beat us. No matter how much Dave Checketts and Ernie Grunfeld tried to lie to us, we knew that we weren't going to win the chip. When we went to the finals in San Antonio in a lockout-shortened season, we knew that Speedwell and them wasn't beating Tim Duncan and David Robinson and the crew. We knew that. When Melo helped us win a division title for the first time with Mike Woodson as coach, we knew we weren't beating LeBron. We thought we'd get past Roy Hibbert in Indiana, but we knew we weren't winning no chip. The Dallas Cowboys, no matter how much they stink, no matter how much their stint is pervasive and just smells up entire regions, the Dallas Cowboy fan will go, no, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? No, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year. They make me sick, okay? And that's why I love trolling them. That's why I love it when they lose. And there is no greater moment for me than when Green Bay beat the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs, and you had grown-ass men leaning over railings, crying like babies. And I think the only thing that was funnier than that for me was when the dude was hugging this woman, and it turned out it wasn't even his girl. He got busted cheating on his girl at the Cowboys game because he decided to hug and console, for lack of a better word, the mistress. I mean, you can't make this. Only with Cowboys does stuff like that happen. And it makes me feel good. Okay? And I ain't apologizing for it to anybody, Dana. That's how I feel about it. You can't compare Nick Fan to that. We know we stink. Not now, but in the past. And even yesterday, what did I say? I said the Knicks could go to the finals because Jason Tatum is out with an Achilles tear. Damian Lillard is gone from Milwaukee after tearing his Achilles. Tyrese Halliburton got the Achilles tear. Miles Turner's now in Milwaukee. Knicks got a chance because of all of these injuries. That's what I said, and I stand by that. I'll give you the last word on the subject, Dana, if you got one. Dana, do you have one? That's what I thought.
I'm still here, Stephen A.
Go ahead.
I'm still here.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you got to say before I let you get on out of here. Go ahead. Respond to that.
I appreciate your retort, and I'm going to let my brother, the Cowboy, the Nick champion, hear what you had to say. And I still going to say it. Y'all Knicks fans are no different than them Cowboys.
Oh, we are not the same. We are not the same. But I hear you, bro. Hold on to that belief. Hold on to that belief. Let's go to Sam in Hershey, Pennsylvania. You're live with Stephen A. What's going on, man? How are you?
My friend, I appreciate you having me on. I'm going to be brief and just talk tennis for a second.
Go ahead, man.
Tonight, Musetti and Sinner has potential for 5 sets. Musetti, stylistically, is, I think, one of the most fun tennis players to watch. He's got a one-handed backhand that's just, I mean, it rivals Wawrinka or Federer's. And then this afternoon, Anisimova has a potential get back. She got bageled by Swiatek. And then I'm going to leave you here, my friend. Inspiration is God making contact with itself. That's Ram Dass. Keep up the great work, dude. We love having you on the station.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. Sinner's a bad boy. Make no mistake about it. He can win it all. Number 1 ranked player in the world. But listen, Djokovic is something special. 38 years of age. What he did against Fritz last night, I watched that from start to finish. I need to watch more of Sinner before I say anything else. But Djokovic right now, I don't know if he's going to beat them, though. All right. Scotty in Vegas, you're live with Stephen A. What's going on, Scotty?
Mr. Stephen A. or Double S, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. Good to talk to you. What's going on?
I just want to call real quick and just say, man, you like the dentist, man. You're drilling all this information in our head. We can't argue with you. We can try, but you're too educated. And Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys. They'll be lucky if they're even going to be 500 this year. America, just get used to it. Jerry only cares about one thing, and that's the almighty dollar. Okay.
Listen, a lot of people get on Jerry Jones, and I don't blame you. I really, really don't, because, especially lately, he's made some boneheaded statements, if not decisions. Like when he said last year that he didn't even know if Derrick Henry would be a good fit for the Cowboys. I mean, that's just utterly ridiculous. That's utterly ridiculous, okay? So that's inexplicable, no doubt. When you trade Micah Parsons and you wait this long to do it, and then you get 2 late first-round picks, which are tantamount to second-round picks, and a defensive tackle and Kenny Clark that's considered middle of the road, that's just not enough for a stud like Micah Parsons. Having said that, from a business perspective, from a marketing perspective, being number 1 for the last 19 consecutive years is saying something. We can't poo-poo that, all right? That's number 1. Number 2, when people try to get on Jerry because it became personal with Micah Parsons because he didn't want to talk to his agent. He thought he had a deal with a 25-year-old at the time that he was negotiating with. I fault him for that because you were negotiating before this man was even born. and he's a football player and you're a businessman, and stop acting like you're dealing with under fair and equitable circumstances, because you wasn't. But what I'm not going to do is sit here and listen to people, and I'm not saying Scotty did that because you didn't, Scotty, but I'm saying other people that, the plantation mentality and, racism. We ain't playing that game. We're going to save that for when it really, really counts, for when it really, really is undeniable. There's no plausible deniability. There's no room for that. With Jerry Jones, I personally know countless people of African-American descent and beyond that he has done boatload of things for, and still doing for, looking out for people constantly. But he is a billionaire, and billionaires are about power. And I'll tell y'all a little story, and I'll share it with y'all. And I ain't going to say the dude's name. I ain't going to say the franchise. I ain't going to say none of this, right? But there was a player in the NBA. And this owner was pretty pissed off that the player wouldn't take the vaccine when COVID was going on, because obviously, not that COVID's not still going on, but when COVID was really ready, the pandemic just ravaged this nation and this world. And the NBA was getting back in the business, and this particular player didn't want to take the vaccine. And this billionaire owner has said to me, Stephen A., let me tell you something. I'm a billionaire. I own the damn team, and I had to take the vaccine. Okay? And I like, really? So what you trying to say? I mean, because, the brother's contract is guaranteed. He said, billionaires, we're going to honor our commitments, going to pay the bills, stuff like that. But there are ways to inconvenience you now. I said, so what you trying to say? What you really trying to say? He said, he's got 36 hours. He's got 36 hours. Okay? And I went on the air and I said, you got 36 hours. And the next thing you know is breaking news on SportsCenter. Just a few hours later, such and such has taken the vaccine. They're returning to work. My point in that story is the golden rule is those who have the gold makes the rules. We live in a society where we want to hate on that reality, but it's a reality that's inescapable nevertheless. You got people all the time that want to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, but they got their damn hand out for somebody else's money. It does not work that way. When you need somebody else's money, that person is in a position of influence and power. I don't give a damn if it's in America, to Ukraine, to Russia, to Yugoslavia, to Slovenia, or anywhere else in the world. Those who have the gold makes the rules. Now, Micah Parsons' case, you might look and say, see, you know what? At the end of the day, look at him. He got his bag. He got $188 million. He making $47 million a year. He got his bag, true, but he got his bag because Jerry Jones was willing to trade him. If Jerry Jones wasn't willing to trade him, David Mulugeta, his agent, confirmed yesterday that Mike Parsons had every intention of playing because sitting out was going to kill him. And he's going to take the $21 to $24 million instead of the new contract. And he said that. So we need to understand, people in positions of power and influence know how to squeeze and make life very, very uncomfortable for you. That's unfortunate. It's not always fair, but that's the way that it goes in life. And everybody needs to understand that. So yeah, Jerry is this way or Jerry is that way, but don't bring up race. It's unnecessary and it's uncalled for. What the real issue is that he's a billionaire who owns the most prestigious franchise in sports and believes in doing things the way he wants to do it, when he wants to do it, how he wants to do it, without giving less than a damn what anybody thinks about it. Now, is it right? Hell no. Is it smart? Hell no. At least in this case with Micah. But it's a reality that has nothing to do with race. And if you want to think about race, I'll throw this at you. Jerry Jones forced Jimmy Johnson out the door after Jimmy Johnson won back-to-back Super Bowl titles. And then spent 30 years not putting him in the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor when everybody and their mama knew that Jimmy Johnson long ago deserved to be there. That's two white guys. Jerry Jones didn't give a damn. Some things ain't about color. Some things are strictly about ego. Think about that. And let me get to the next caller. Let me see who I'm going to pick here. Let's go to Andrew in Detroit. You're live with Stephen A. I love these calls from all over the country. I love it. Go ahead, Andrew. What's up?
What's going on, Stephen A?
Talk
I've been
to me,
watching
baby.
you for a long time, First Take and everything like that. But I got two quick football takes, one pro, one college.
All right.
My pro take is, as far as I can tell, we still got Penei Sewell. And we still got a very good left tackle. So we're not worried about Michael Parsons, especially if he's coming over with a back injury. And we also know that throughout the year he gets worn down because he's very quick and everything, but he's not the biggest of size.
Epidural
so
shot.
the Detroit Lions and all this.
Taking an epidural shot, too.
We're getting, yes, we lost two coordinators, but we have most of our team back, and we are ready to go and compete for to get to a championship.
Okay.
My second.
Go ahead. Where you at, Andrew? I lost your voice.
Yeah, Arch Manning looked downright terrible. You can say that, oh, yeah, it was the defense that Patricia put out there, but after 3 years, when he's been on that in that program, this is his third year, when he couldn't beat out Quentin Ewers last year when he was injured, that let me know that he was not ready to become a starter, and he's still not ready to become a starter this year.
Hold it,
he's
Andrew.
only getting put in that place because his last name is
Andrew, don't make me repeat myself 10,000 times asking you to chill out. Let me respond, okay? You calling into my show. Let me respond to you, bro. Arch Manning was terrible. And I give you credit because you're bringing up the fact that he had been there already for 2 years. This ain't some freshman that's just walking in straight out of high school. He's been there enough to look better than he's looked. But my question to you real quick is, what about Steve Sarkisian? Don't you think he called a relatively, a conventional game, as opposed to really, really being a bit creative? Don't you think that was the case? Andrew? Andrew's gone. See, people just want to talk. That doesn't work that way in the Stephen A. Smith Show. You're going to ask me a question, you're going to listen to my answer. And when I want to interject, I get to because I'm the host of the damn show. So understand that. You got to listen to me even as you're talking. When I want to interject, it's because you might have said something that triggered me, and I got to get at you, okay? So you got to remember that that's how I'm going to roll doing this stuff, okay? He makes a good point about Detroit. I mean, you got Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Gibbs and Montgomery out of the backfield. You got Laporte as a tight end spot. You got, Jared Goff, who had an outstanding year until he rolled into the playoffs. But even when they went into the playoffs against the Commanders, you had about 13 dudes injured on the defensive side of the ball. And then I'm listening to people talking about the Commanders. What about them? What about them? What about them? Yo, Jaden Daniels is no joke. He's the real deal. Make no mistake about that. And Keeper McLaurin was very, very smart on the part of the Washington Redskins and acquiring Deebo Samuels, who still have something to prove coming over from San Francisco. All of these things will bode well for them. Losing Brian Robinson Jr., I'm not so sure how wise that was, but we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. In the end, when I look at the Commanders, I'm saying to myself, Kingsbury did a damn good job as offensive coordinator. Quinn can coach as a head coach, coached Atlanta to the Super Bowl, still hasn't recovered from giving up a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots for losing that one. But things happen. We'll see what the Commanders do this year. But in the end, when I think about the top teams in the NFC, to me, it's Philadelphia 1, Detroit Lions 2. You can put Tampa Bay, the Washington Commanders, all right? You can put them in the mix as well. I got that part. The Los Angeles Rams, the only reason I didn't mention them is because I'm concerned about Matthew Stafford's back. If it wasn't for that, I would put them up there possibly on the same level as the Lions, if not ahead of the Lions. So all of those things are things that are worthy of thinking about. If I didn't throw Minnesota in there, it's because I got to see J.J. McCarthy and this investment that Kevin O'Connell clearly made in him, letting Sam Darnold walk out the door. You throw for over 4,300 yards. You throw for 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Okay, you lead Minnesota to a 14-2 record in their first 16 games. But somehow, some way, you find yourself in a situation where you're just going to let him walk out the door for a dude that won a national championship at Michigan, but never even had a 3,000-yard season, acting like he's the second coming. I got to see this. Him against Caleb Williams Monday night. I got to see it. But let me tell y'all something y'all got to see and hear. What I'm going to say, starting hour number 2, about Kawhi Leonard. That and your calls and more up next. Hour number 2 coming your way.
Unfiltered.
I'm not sold. I'm sorry.
Unapologetic.
I'm not trying to talk about him.
Unlike anyone else.
But knowing y'all
will probably make me.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Welcome to hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Coming at you as I love to do. And I will be coming at you as I love to do every weekday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over the airwaves of SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. The number to call up as always is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888 Mad Dog 6. 888-623-3646. 888-623-3646. Thanks again to Mad Dog Russo for coming on the show, joining me in the first hour. I'm in my new studios here in New York City, and I just wanted to have him in here because I just want to take a moment to thank SiriusXM. I really, really appreciate the love and support that they've given me. They've been absolutely phenomenal. And I remember working here at Mad Dog Sports Radio years ago. I worked there from 2013 to 2017. I had an absolute blast. It's just that I made, moves in the television industry, and I was doing that. I'm still doing that. But nevertheless, I walked away from radio for a little while. It's been about 8 years. So it's just, I just can't tell you. You do things in life that just energize you, it gives you that change, it gives you that spark plug that you need. And I'm blessed and fortunate that, I always tell people when I'm giving speeches and stuff like that, there's a difference between a job and a career. A job is doing what you have to do to sustain or elevate your quality of life. A career is doing what you want to do, and it just so happens to do those things. And the job that I have in my day job working for ESPN is more than fulfilling enough. But for me to have my own radio show back on SiriusXM, for me to own what I own in terms of my radio show, my YouTube channel and everything like that, it's just a breath of fresh air because I wake up every day excited about going to work because I know I'm doing my thing and I'm supported by some of the best people that I've ever worked with in my life. So it's just a really, really good feeling. And I'm really, really happy about that. But just as important to me, I'm happy that listeners and callers out there calling into the show, vibing with y'all. There's not a platform other than radio that you really, really get to do that live and in real time while you're on the air. Even now that I'm sitting here talking to y'all, one of my best friends in the world, I call him Mr. Baseball, my man Jeff Brown, is driving in his car listening to me, and this brother is just a baseball aficionado. That's why I was laughing when I was talking about baseball, because he knows I don't do that too much because I don't get to watch nearly as much baseball as I do basketball and football, even though obviously I know the game because my father raised me, teaching me how to know more about baseball. It has nothing to do with the first pitch that I threw out there. That was quite embarrassing. That was a choke job on my part when I showed up to Yankee Stadium. I was wearing Christian Louboutins, y'all, with a damn dress shirt under a Derek Jeter jersey. And I walked up to the mound after throwing strikes in front of the Yankee dugout. And when I walked up the hill, I almost bust my ass walking up the hill. So I got scared and I was like this, oh my God, the cameras are rolling. And I'm on the hill looking downward, right? And I looked up, I was on the hill, and it looked like a mile away. The mound looked like a mile away from home plate. I said, oh my God, what have I got myself into? And then when I was sitting there and sticking my feet in the dirt and it was slippage, I was like, I am not busting my ass on national television. I'm not letting that happen. I don't give a damn if I have to throw this and it's got to skip to the plate like I'm playing cricket. As long as I don't bust my ass on national television, I can live with the consequences. I made a business decision. What can I say? I made a business decision. Anyway, back to the show. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number call. It's 888-623-3646. Before I get to the calls, I want to share this story with y'all about Kawhi Leonard. Normally, most people aren't too interested in listening to the Clippers. Obviously, they're an NBA franchise. They've never won an NBA championship. They're not the Lakers, the purple and gold. Laker Nation still owns Los Angeles. But the Clippers got a nice following. Their arena, the Intuit Dome, is spectacular, no doubt about that. I loved being there. Steve Ballmer has done a hell of a job there. But there's this story that's going on with regards to Kawhi Leonard that I had to share with y'all because to me, it transcends sports to a certain degree. The story is told as Los Angeles Clippers and owner Steve Ballmer are accused of paying star Kawhi Leonard $28 million for a, quote, no-show job, end quote, as a way to circumvent the NBA salary cap, according to the report by Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre Finds Out. That's the name of the podcast. Torre laid out the alleged scandal on his program. Pablo Torre finds out on Wednesday. The show, which features plenty of direct quotes from legal documents, made the argument that Leonard was paid $28 million through a company owned by Ballmer to essentially do nothing. Ballmer is accused of using the agreement as a way to pay Leonard more than his contract, which, if true, is a violation of NBA rules. The entire situation revolves around a now bankrupt company called Aspiration, a tree planting service funded by Ballmer. Aspiration entered a $28 million legal agreement with KL2 Aspire, LLC, a company owned by Kawhi Leonard. Torre attempted to find any evidence that Leonard ever marketed for or endorsed the company, but came up empty. A clause in one of the contract documents between Aspiration and KL2 Aspire LLC stated Leonard could, quote, decline to proceed with any action desired by the company, end quote, essentially giving Leonard the ability to get paid without doing anything. Another clause stated Leonard would only be paid if he remained a member of the Clippers. Last but not least, payments from Aspire to KL2 Aspire LLC were sent to Dennis Robertson, Leonard's advisor, who was investigated by the NBA in 2019 for asking for impermissible benefits. The NBA completed that investigation into Robertson, also known as Uncle Dennis, and found no evidence the Clippers granted illegal benefits to Leonard while pursuing him in free agency. Let me say a couple of things here. Let me tell you something that I know about Uncle Dennis. I'm certainly not going to accuse him of something illegal. But anything legal and within bounds that falls under the category of a perk, if anybody's going to ask for all of them for Kawhi Leonard, it's him. Let's get that out the way right now. We're going to understand that right now. That's exactly what the hell he would do. Let's get that out the way. Any perk that you will find is for Kawhi Leonard. I'm going to give Steve Ballmer the benefit of the doubt. I know him. I know a lot of people within the Clippers franchise. A lot of them are first class all the way. And they should be very, very proud of the people that they have employed under his umbrella because, you know, they're big-time people. Their integrity is top-notch. I got a lot of love and a lot of respect for the Clippers organization. That does not mean, however, that this doesn't warrant an investigation. Let's get that out the way first. It does not warrant an investigation because it does. These accusations are serious, and if somebody is being accused of circumventing the salary cap, that puts them at an unfair advantage, which is not something that could ever be tolerated. So the NBA should investigate this matter, okay? With that being said, through no fault of Steve Ballmer, let me tell you what I find credible about this story. When it says that Kawhi Leonard was getting $28 million, quote unquote, for a no-show job, end quote. That sounds just like Kawhi Leonard. No-show job. No-show job. Don't have to show up. Don't have to do a damn thing. That sounds exactly like Kawhi Leonard. Exactly like him. Now, there's a lot of people out there that's going to lose their mind with what I'm saying because they're going to accuse me of being very, very cruel because it's Kawhi Leonard that we're talking about here. There's a two-time champion, all right? All of this other stuff. This is what they're going to say. He's a two-time champion. He's a two-time NBA Finals MVP. All of that is true. When I say greatness, I mean greatness. Kawhi Leonard is great. And I'm quite sure he's a very, very nice human being. That is not my issue with him. My issue with Kawhi Leonard is that this brother has missed more than 40% of his games since he arrived into the Clippers more than 5 years ago. He's missed more than 40% of his regular season games. He's missed more than 30% of the playoff games. And he does absolutely, positively nothing to promote your franchise. I'm talking about me, Stephen A. Smith, standing up and giving this man a standing ovation when I saw him doing an interview on a podium in a playoffs post-game because it was a freaking miracle. This brother does nothing to promote a franchise. I have said on many, many occasions, and I will say it again, he is the worst superstar I have ever seen in sports history. I have never seen a sports superstar. Notice I'm saying superstar because he is a superstar. I'm not questioning his greatness. I'm not even questioning his character. This is not about that. This is not about his play. And it's not about his character. Maybe it is a little bit about his character, but you can interpret it the way that you want to. I'm not attacking. I'm not saying he's a bad human being. I'm not saying he's somebody that doesn't work hard. I'm not questioning the legitimacy of his injuries along the way. But my God, ladies and gentlemen, if you're averaging over 40.3 million a year in your career with the Clippers, could you do interviews? Could you do promotional appearances? Could you represent the franchise? Could you show up? Could you sign autographs for kids before or after the games? Could you do that? None of that. But the brother made sure to get the helicopter rides. He made sure to get the private jets. He made sure to get a masseuse. I mean, everything. Everything. You understand? This man, he doesn't miss anything. If there's a perk to be had, he's going to get it. And along the way, one season after another, injuries, missed games after missed games after missed games, minutes managed after minutes managed after minutes managed, playoff appearances. I mean, this brother dropped over 30 against KD and the Phoenix Suns in KD's first year there, walked off the court, looked absolutely fine. There were no reports of slipping in the showers or bumping your knee walking upstairs or anything like that. And this brother couldn't go the rest of the series. You know how many times Ty Lue or a coach that's coached him has found themselves in a predicament where literally this dude would be there and he'd play the night before and he'd show up to early morning practice and then it's time for game time. He'd show up to shoot around and then come game time, they'd learn at 4 or 5 o'clock that he wasn't available to play. This is why the Clippers couldn't do but so much. And oh, by the way, even when they went to the conference finals, they did it without him because he got hurt in that Utah series. That was Paul George and the crew that carried them to the conference finals against Phoenix. So we got to pay attention to all of that. And that's what I'm looking at when I'm looking at Kawhi Leonard. This brother had his own New Balance commercial. New Balance sneaker commercial. He had his own commercial, and little kids did the talking. He didn't say a word. Go back and look at it. Go back and look at it. Now, everybody sit up there and say, what does that have to do with basketball? You know what it has to do? With your professional obligations. You don't get paid to just play the sport that you signed up to play. You get paid to promote the brand and the product and the league. Say what you will about the LeBron James and Steph Currys of the world. Not that anybody would say anything about Steph Curry because he's just an angel, for crying out loud, the greatest shooter God ever created and one of the best human beings you could ever meet. But I'm just saying, you look at all of these guys. Look at a LeBron James. Look at other stars. They fulfill their responsibilities. They sit there and they talk. They answer questions. They have conversations. Not Kawhi. Not that brother. I'm sorry. I think that when you look at him and his unwillingness to promote the brand itself, I think it says all that you need to hear. And just before I go to the callers, let me say this for the record. He's been with the Clippers for 6 years. Missed the whole 21-22 season due to injury. Regular season games missed. He's missed 206 of 472 games. That's 44%. Postseason games missed. He's missed 15 of 50. That's 30%. Stints on the injured list with the Clippers, over 50. Lots of one-gamers, by the way. Injury list includes knee, foot, groin, abductor, hip, ankle, back, leg, face, and lots of games for injury management and rest. Last playoff series win for him, 2021. Oh, by the way, career earnings with those same Clippers, $241.8 million. $241.8 million. $241.8 million. An average of 40.3 a year. I'm going to say it for the last time. Not one iota, not one speck of effort before this past season did I see him lift a finger to support promoting the Clippers franchise. He is a superstar player. If he is healthy, he can carry this team. This brother is money. And I'm in no way saying he is a bad human being. I don't know him. He doesn't really talk. But I will tell you this. When you consider what the face of a franchise is supposed to mean to anything in any business. He is the worst superstar a franchise could ever have because he does nothing to promote you, and he misses work half the time. It's that simple. Misses work half the time and does nothing promotionally. Why spend that amount of money on him? I've been asking Steve Ballmer that for years, and I'm doing it again. So when I saw this story and it said Kawhi Leonard, paying star Kawhi Leonard $28 million for a no-show job, that may not sound like Steve Ballmer and the Clippers, but it damn sure sounds like Kawhi Leonard. I would say take the money and run. He might take the money and stand still and be quiet doing it. That's the MO, y'all. That's the MO. 888-MAD-DOG-6 is the number to call. Back to your calls in a minute. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the Sirius XM airwaves of Mad Dog Radio. Back with more in a minute. It's a lot to get into. I mean, no question about it. I know a lot of people going to feel a bit salty about what I'm saying about Kawhi Leonard. I could give less than a damn. And to be clear, as I reintroduce my show to a radio audience that I've been apart from for the last 18 years, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm about. I mean, I'm not here. I don't want any enemies. And listen, I live a happy life. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to get theirs in a whole bit. Please don't get me wrong. But I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And I think that with Kawhi Leonard, again, this is not a character assassination or anything like that. These are facts. These are facts. If I came to you and I told you, ladies and gentlemen, that this cat is averaging $40.3 million in salary over the last 5 years, but he's missed 44% of his regular season games and 30% of the playoff games. And the one time we went to the conference finals, we had to do it without him because he got injured that year. And he did absolutely positively nothing to promote the game. What would you feel about him? Would you want somebody like that? We got to be honest about this. We got to be honest about this. And we don't know if it's true or not, what the accusations are. We don't know that. We really, really don't. But I got to tell you something. We got to ask ourselves, hey, what's the deal? In the end, that's what it comes down to. And my producer, Sean, if you're looking for me, just get in my ear, my brother. Make sure I hear you. But anyway, I really mean that. It's a question that needs to be asked. Somebody got to say this kind of stuff. We can't just let that slide. We can't just act like it's cool. On this show, we going to do that. We gonna hold folks accountable now. I'm back on radio 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show. You ain't going to see me too many fill-in days. I'm not one of those dudes. I don't like taking a lot of time off. You understand? Only in the summertime. And even then, now that I have the radio show, I ain't going to be doing that. Because there's stuff that needs to be said. Now, before I get to back to the callers, because we're having some technical difficulties here, and we'll get to them in just a second. Before I get to them, I also wanted to bring up the whole Taylor Swift thing. Now, I remember everybody's been talking about Taylor Swift or whatever. You know, it got me to thinking, y'all. I started reflecting on some Super Bowl shows, my all-time favorites and stuff like that. Some of y'all ain't, because, some of y'all folks out there you don't love hip-hop the way that I do. So when I saw Dr. Dre with Snoop Dogg and Mary J. Blige and Eminem and 50 and and Kendrick Lamar and them performing in L.A. at the Super Bowl, I was feeling it. I really, really was. It was good, okay? It was good. No doubt about it. It was great, actually. No doubt about that. And Dr. Dre, he's just a GOAT to me. When you think about music producers and what have you in terms of producing songs and what they bring to the table, he's absolutely spectacular. So I love that part. But I got to tell you something. It got me to thinking, especially as everybody talked about Taylor Swift and how she should be the halftime show. I know there's a lot of people out there, they looked at Rihanna and, you looked at Dr. Dre and them, you looked at Kendrick Lamar, and you get tired of hip-hop artists and stuff like that, and you might want Jello, you might want Taylor Swift, you might want somebody like that. I remember when Coldplay was there, y'all didn't say nothing about that. Coldplay did their thing. I get that part. But I personally think things along these lines. When I think about Taylor Swift and the Eras Tour, which was spectacular, by the way, major props to her, I think about what performers that I would like to see. And they got to be plausible. They got to be reasonable. Like for me, just strictly from a performance perspective, one would think about Chris Brown because he could dance his ass off and he's absolutely spectacular, but he's had things happening, in his life that, you just can't, he can't be associated with that. So people ain't going to be receptive to that, and we have to understand that, okay? But here's what I would tell you. What about bringing Bruno Mars back? Because I got news for you. When you bring Bruno Mars, that brother, special. Very, very, very special. Okay? A matter of fact, one could easily argue that the best Super Bowl show of all time, even greater than Michael Jackson in Pasadena, and that's saying a lot because this is Michael Jackson we're talking about, God rest his soul. Bruno Mars with Beyonce and Coldplay. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that? Because I got news for you. To me, that might have been the greatest Super Bowl halftime show I've seen. I remember people bringing up Whitney Houston singing the national anthem. That ain't halftime. That ain't halftime. That's pregame. That's pregame. And by the way, speaking of the national anthem, my two all-time favorites was Whitney Houston singing the national anthem and Marvin Gaye. See, you young whippersnappers might not know about that. Shame on you. Shame on you. Marvin Gaye singing the national anthem at the LA Forum in the early 80s with Magic Johnson there shaking his head. He ain't never heard national anthem like that in his life. Marvin Gaye. I know what I'm talking about. But in terms of halftime shows, I was there in Miami when Prince performed. And by the way, he performed and then he started singing Purple Rain and it started raining. You talk about divine intervention here. I mean, it's Prince we talk about. God rest his soul. It's Prince. So let's be very, very clear about what we're saying here. Stephen A. knows his halftime shows now. It's been a few of them. And Bruno Mars by himself, when Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos got romped and stomped by the Legion of Boom and the Seattle Seahawks in East Rutherford. Bruno Mars was fantastic by himself. But when him and Beyonce joined forces with Coldplay, I think that deserves a second round. I think that deserves a sequel. I do. I really, really do. Kendrick Lamar did his thing last year. I was pleased with him. I really, really was. No doubt about it. I was pleased with Kendrick Lamar. No question. Dr. Dre, no doubt. I got another one for y'all. I think when the Super Bowl in LA, y'all, ain't that next year? Super Bowl, I know the Olympics is coming to Los Angeles in 2028. When is the Super Bowl coming back to SoFi? Because when it does, 2027, when it does, there's one name that should stand above the crowd. I really, really love me some Dr. Dre. He's phenomenal. He's the GOAT. He's my GOAT. I love him to death. But in terms of Super Bowl halftime performance, y'all, from LA, SoFi, he'll tear the house down. You know who I'm talking about? My man Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg in 2027 from SoFi Stadium. That's your halftime show. That's your halftime show. I'm just saying. By the way, Goodell was asked about Taylor Swift. Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the National Football League. Here's what he had to say. We would always love to have Taylor play. She is a special, special talent, and obviously she would be welcome at any time. Well, of course he's going to say that. You know why Roger Goodell's going to say that? Because Taylor Swift reportedly has contributed at least $1 billion of worth to the National Football League, merchandise sales, ticket sales, et cetera, et cetera. The female audience in the National Football League is at 46%. For Taylor Swift, when she's in Kansas City, their female populace is at 57%. 11% higher than any other NFL team league average in the National Football League. That's special. That's special. So she's clearly had a profound effect in a very positive way, not just on Travis Kelce for obvious reasons, but also on the Kansas City Chiefs as an organization and on the NFL as a collective body. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour was off the chain. She's fantastic. All right? And because she's fantastic, I don't blame Roger Goodell saying that because she's good for business. So all the people that was hating her, I remember Doggy was hating on her. I don't want to see her, wish them nothing but the happiness of the world, but they don't need to be on my screen come football week. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Because she brings an audience with her. She's Taylor Swift. She's Taylor freaking Swift. No doubt about it. If she want to perform this year, fine. But I'm telling y'all, as fantastic as she is, and she is fantastic, she ain't Bruno Mars with Beyonce, with Coldplay. I swear to y'all, y'all know I'm telling the truth. And we talk about some great halftime shows over the years. I mean, Michael Jackson comes up, they raise the stage, he just turns to his right, and the crowd is losing their damn mind, going crazy for like 2 full minutes, and the director says he can't make a move until Michael Jackson takes off his glasses, and he's just standing there, and the crowd is going ballistic and crazy and losing their mind. Women fainting, men crying, and all of this other stuff. And Michael Jackson just in slow motion and took off his glasses, and you started seeing everybody going berserk. It was fantastic. Michael Jackson's Michael Jackson. And I'm going to repeat. You got people out there like your musician Tank and others swearing that Chris Brown is the greatest entertainer in history because he could dance his ass off and he could perform. He's got great music. But that ain't all that comes with it, which is why you're not going to have a lot of people out there clamoring for Chris Brown to be the halftime show for obvious reasons in people's eyes. So because of that, you go to Bruno Mars and you go to Beyonce. But you still throw out this caveat separating everything from it. And that is L.A., SoFi Stadium, Snoop Dogg bringing the house down. I'm telling y'all right now, I promise you, Snoop Dogg, what's my name? That dude, Snoop Dogg. You understand? You understand what I'm saying to you? Roger Goodell, you listening? NFL, you listening? SoFi Stadium, Los Angeles, California. And I know Lil Wayne, don't get mad. Don't get mad, bro. Because I didn't say this about you in New Orleans. Just because you're from the hometown, I said that don't mean you guarantee. There's plenty of performers that ain't from this respective city of the Super Bowl, and they perform. It don't have to be your hometown. But L.A. is different. L.A. special. SoFi is different. Give it to Snoop Dogg. Let Snoop Doggy Dogg be the halftime entertainment for the Super Bowl in 2027 at SoFi. This year, if it ain't Taylor Swift, go back and get Beyonce, Coldplay, and Bruno Mars. One of the three would be good enough for me, but all three would be spectacular. That's what I have to say. Hopefully our technical difficulties are resolved and we can get back to the phone calls before I get on out of here today. 888-MAD-DOG-6 is the number to call up. That's 888 MAD-DOG 6, 888-623-3646. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Back with more in a minute.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show. Let's get right to the calls of 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-MAD-DOG-6. Let's go to Cornelius in Georgia. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Cornelius?
Stephen A. I'm glad you're back.
My brother, hold on, stop right there. I need you to speak up, raise that volume in your voice. Stop trying to sound like a miniature Barry White, my brother. I need you to raise that bass in your voice. What's up, bro? How you doing? Let the audience hear you. Let's go.
All right. Recovering from COVID. Sorry about that.
All right. Oh,
Listen,
my
man.
best to you, man. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. My bad. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm a Steeler fan just like yourself, man. And if you were the GM or the owner, what would be your way of going about turning this thing around? I think we haven't won a playoff game in, 8 years? What you think we need to do to start turning this thing around?
Sadly, man, their problem is they can't find a quarterback. There's nothing else definitively that we can look at the Steelers and complain about. Their defense has been one of the best. Offensively, they've been anemic because they haven't had a quarterback since the last 2 years of Big Ben Roethlisberger's career. That's really the problem. And they've got to find a quarterback. And I would hold the franchise accountable for their inability to find a quarterback that you could rely upon for years to come. Damn, it's been about 6 years. It's that simple to me.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the call.
Thanks a lot, man. Let's go to Vince in Atlanta. You're live with Stephen A. What's going on, Vince? How are you, man?
Hey, what's up, Stephen A., man?
Talk
Just
to me.
real quick, man. Illinois football fan, man. What you think about them?
Not a damn thing because I haven't watched Illinois. Don't know much about them. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to you. I don't play that game. If I don't know, I'm gonna tell you I don't know. I don't get a chance. I haven't watched Illinois. Okay. The only reason I knew about Northwestern was because they refused to let, Tulane wear the uniforms to honor, everything that happened with Hurricane Katrina and to memorialize that. And they were classless according to the reports. If it's true that they didn't let that happen and they wouldn't let Tulane wear their white jerseys. But I haven't had an opportunity to watch Illinois. I've been watching college football all weekend. I watched Colorado. I watched Alabama lose to Florida State. Obviously, I watched Texas lose to Ohio State. I certainly watched Bill Belichick and UNC get blitzed, by TCU the other night as well. And, of course, I watched Clemson and LSU. So I don't get a chance to watch every college football game, but I watch as much as I can. I don't know much about Illinois right now.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Take it easy, man. Let's go to Josh in New Hampshire. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Josh? Josh, talk to me. What's up? Are you there? Okay. Let's go to Eric in Washington State. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Eric?
Stephen A., congratulations on the new show, and
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to listen to you.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, you bet. Next 4 series for the Yankees. They got 2 more with the Astros, of course, back to New York to play Toronto and Detroit, and then 3 in Boston. Stephen A., you're right on with the Yankees. You said you've only seen about 20 games, but you don't trust them in the playoffs.
I don't.
We're all in the same boat. Yes, what I need to see, they need to take 2 out of 3 from every one of these series.
I agree with you.
Big-time playoff teams.
I agree with you.
I need to see that.
I agree with you.
Yep.
Toronto, Boston, definitely so. Especially Boston. You can't have the Boston Red Sox smacking you around like that. Not when you're a New York Yankee. You can't have that. That's inexcusable. It's blasphemy. That's what that is. It's blasphemy. You can't have that. You got to smack them around. You can't let them have their way with you. I totally agree with you on that. Don't trust their bullpen. Don't even trust their starting pitching. All right. And by the way, they're hitting. If they ain't hitting home runs, they ain't producing runs. What happened to run production? What happened to base runners in scoring position? What happened to getting on base? Putting the ball in play. If the Yankees ain't hitting home runs, they striking out. That's the damn problem. They got to fix that, bro. They got to fix that. Appreciate the call, man. Let's go to Lou in Baltimore. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Lou? How are you?
Stephen Anthony Smith. What's up, brother?
What's up, my brother? How are you?
Good. All right, I'll make this quick. Next time, like you say on first take, put me on the big screen, answer the phone quicker. But listen here.
I'll answer the phone when I want to answer the damn phone. It's my show. If I want to make you wait an hour, I'll make you wait a damn hour. But go ahead. I'll let that slide. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, if the Cowboys win tomorrow and if they make their playoffs, could we get an apology to either Jerry Jones, the Cowboys team, or the fan base like me?
Hold on. Lou, I apologize. You know you're welcome to call back anytime. We'll call back. But let me just make sure I'm clear. Did you just say that you want an apology from me about the Cowboys? Is that what you just said? Is that what you just said? Oh, I know he dropped because his ass was about to get hung up on. Ain't no way. Me apologize for the Cowboys? Shh, please. Bill in Chevy Chase, Maryland. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Bill? How are you?
Hi, Stephen A. Thank you. I got to tell you, you're doing a terrific job.
Thank you, sir.
And, the most noteworthy thing you do, in my opinion, is the way you are interacting with the callers. I got to tell you, that's what separates the greats like Mad Dog from the guys who mail it in. And there are a lot of guys who do this who don't interact. So keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
You know, when I hear you talk about Kawhi Leonard, I have always thought of Kawhi Leonard, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this. I agree with everything you said, but I have always labeled him, to me, he's the founding father of the modern load management problem. To
Absolutely.
the extent, if I recall correctly, when he signed that contract with the Clippers, the way it was described is he had load management written into his contractual rights.
Correct. And remember, when he was with Toronto, he was limited to 60 games. Like, you know, he wasn't going to play over 60 games that season. But let's not forget that. And Toronto took a chance on him anyway, you know, shipped out DeMar DeRozan and what have you, let him walk, and then ultimately brought Kawhi Leonard there, and they lucked up and won the championship. And I say lucked up because there's no way in hell they're beating the Golden State Warriors if Kevin Durant doesn't tear his Achilles. There's no way in hell that is happening. A healthy Kevin Durant with a healthy Klay Thompson, who, by the way, got injured in that Game 6 and had dropped 30 up until that injury, they would have swept the Toronto Raptors. And I love Kyle Lowry. Love him. I love that brother. But that team would not have beaten the Golden State Warriors. Not even close.
I want to ask you something that goes to your Knicks fandom, and this might go back a little further than you, not than me, because I'm much older than you. But in my view, after Bill Russell, the player who gave up the most in his career in potential personal achievement for team success might be Walt Frazier. Give me the Stephen A. breakdown of Walt Frazier, Nick Great versus Jalen Brunson. Totally different players, totally different eras, but what do you think?
Now, you said who? You said Jalen Brunson or who? Walt Frazier?
Walt Frazier.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
Walt Frazier was money. We can't put, as much as we love Jalen Brunson, and as spectacular as he has been, what an overachiever. No question about it. I'm so grateful to have him as a part of the New York Knicks as the face of the franchise because the brother is special. But there's no championship yet. There's not even a trip to the NBA Finals yet. So when we talk about putting him ahead of Walt Clyde Frazier, and that is the man that has delivered our last championship that we've ever had, which was in 1973 with Black Jesus, Earl of Pearl Monroe, and others. The bottom line is we can't put anybody ahead of Walt Clyde Frazier. Now, I will tell you that when you think about all-time Knicks, you bring him, you bring Bernard King, you bring Patrick Ewing, you bring Carmelo Anthony, Jalen Brunson, because of how excellent and exceptional he has been, you probably have to put him as a top 5 Knick of all time, even though there were other champions like Bradley and DeBusschere and Willis Reed and others on those championship squads. You probably got to put Jalen Brunson ahead of all of those cats outside of Walt Clyde Frazier. But listen, you can't displace the champions. You can't displace them. All right? I got to run, but I appreciate the call, man. Let's go. Let's see who else is here. Let's go to Mike in Los Angeles. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Mike? Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great. Great to have you back. We missed you from your LA show for all those years.
That's right.
I've been around Steve Ballmer a lot from the very beginning. This guy does not want to alienate your top 8 free agents like your Paul Georges, your Kawhi Leonards, and so he's letting it all slide. This is couch change to Steve Ballmer. He wants to win the chip.
Time out, Mike. Hold on. Let me pause you.
Sir.
Let me pause you a second. I get where you're coming from, and theoretically speaking, you're not wrong. I understand what you're thinking, but we have to be careful about what we're saying definitively happened, because if he did that, it's illegal in terms of his effort to circumvent the salary cap. And I certainly don't want to accuse Steve Ballmer of doing something that egregious, especially for the services of Kawhi Leonard. I don't want to do that. But what I will tell you is that, again, it warrants an investigation. And when you think about Kawhi Leonard getting paid for not working, that falls in line and is consistent with what has been the case for him since he's become a Clipper.
Never wanted to indicate that. I'm talking about criticizing him or saying, Stephen A. Smith's got a great point, or any other person of credibility has got a great point. This guy's just taking advantage of a very generous owner.
Yes.
That was my point. Not anything nefarious at all.
Understood.
Stephen. So the next guy that will not say, but he's not treating brothers right at all. He's just following Donald Sterling and not being cool.
No.
You see him at courtside, just loving this game of basketball the way you and I do.
I tell you this much: if I was a star, I'd want to play for Steve Ballmer. I'd want to play for Steve Ballmer. I tell you that much right now. I'd want to play for him because that man's going to go all out and to give you everything you want and need in order for you to go out there and deliver for him. And I personally believe he deserves it. I know Kawhi is a superstar. He could play. But I'm getting on him for his lack of promotion, his unwillingness to go that extra mile, to communicate. It's not just about playing basketball. It's about representing the franchise. It's what it is, okay? I'm a preeminent face on ESPN. I promote the franchise. I'm a preeminent face now on SiriusXM. I am going to promote the franchise. It's good for business. It's good for their business. It's good for my business. I'm not going to just think about myself. I didn't just get paid, so guess what? I could be asleep at the wheel for nearly 45% of the year during the regular season and miss a third of the games during the playoffs. Hell to the no. I'm going to do everything that I can to maximize my potential, not just on behalf of myself, but on behalf of the organization that I represent. And I am saying that is not something that Kawhi Leonard has done since he has been a member of the Los Angeles Clippers. That's what I'm saying, and I stand by that, and I ain't backing up from that 1 inch, not for a damn second. I appreciate the call, though. Thank you so much. Malachi in Cincinnati, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? I just want to... Hey, hello, Stephen A.
You right here? I'm right here.
Hello?
Here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, my bad, man. Hey, I'm glad you back on the way on the airways, man. I want to ask you 2 quick questions,
sure,
and I'll take your comments off the air. First, Pittsburgh Steelers, what you think about them? And my second question, what do you think about that Crawford-Carmelo fight?
My brother,
and I'll take your call.
My brother, I can't wait until the Crawford-Canelo fight. I will be there. I think Crawford is going to win by decision. I think he's the better boxer. And I think he's smart enough to be big enough and strong enough to keep Canelo off of him. It's not going to be a situation where Canelo chased Charlo from the second round on. I don't think he's going to be able to do that so easily against Terrence Crawford. And I think that Canelo's great, but I think that Canelo has slowed a touch in the latter years, and every punch is a power punch. I think he slows down as the fight wanes, and I think Crawford is highly intelligent and highly brilliant as a boxer. I don't think anybody's knocking Canelo out. Maybe Benavidez, and that's a maybe. I think it's a shame that Canelo hasn't fought David Benavidez. I think that David Benavidez should be the one in the ring. He's earned it. He's a natural super middleweight, and he shouldn't have to move up to light heavyweight and think about fighting Beterbiev or Bivol or anybody else. He should have been fighting Canelo at super middleweight, but Canelo has avoided him. I don't like that. Having said that, Crawford is big time. As a fighter, one of the all-time greats. I believe that he will prove it because I think that he's the superior boxer here in this equation, and I think he'll get it done. As for your question about the Steelers, it all comes down to Aaron Rodgers. Are you going to be the dude that's relatively pedestrian like you were the last year or so in Green Bay? Are you going to be like you were last year with your QBR in the 40s? Even though you threw 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions and passed for nearly, for about 3,800 yards? Or are you going to be better than that? Because if he's better than that, with Warren in the backfield, even though Najee Harris is going as a Charger, with Freiermuth at the tight end spot, with a DK Metcalf as a wideout. I don't know about Calvin Austin III or anybody else or the other wideouts that they have, but I know about DK Metcalf. I think it was also helpful that the Steelers picked up a second tight end in Jonnu Smith from the Dolphins when they traded away Fitzpatrick. I would have given anything for Jalen Ramsey and Fitzpatrick to be on the defensive side of the ball with T.J. Watt, with Cam Hayward and those boys. I would have loved that. But to get somebody like Jalen Ramsey, you got to give up something, and that's why they gave up Fitzpatrick. But Jonnu Smith with Freiermuth as dual tight ends will be somewhat of a security blanket for Aaron Rodgers that I think will be helpful. Okay? That's what I wanted to say. Before I get on out of here today, I wanted to pay tribute to a very, very special man. And that man was George Raveling. I don't know if y'all heard the news or not, but he had passed away after a lengthy battle with cancer. And Michael Jordan gave a phenomenal quote about him because he was obviously the Nike Global Basketball sports marketing director, a great basketball ambassador, coached at various schools, including USC, was connected to the Sonny Vaccaro, introduced Michael Jordan to the folks at Nike. And Michael Jordan gave a tremendous quote yesterday articulating that if it were not for George Raveling, there never would have been an Air Jordan. And so, you know, this is an iconic figure in the basketball world. He's somebody that touched the lives of many African-American coaches. Doc Rivers reached out to me yesterday along with various others who are in the coaching profession in basketball, and their hearts are broken because we've lost a great one. You know, to me, the great ones are always in a better place. Our hearts are broken because we miss them, not because we think they're worse off, they're better off. Sometimes this world sucks. Sometimes we need to be reminded that when our days on earth expire, it's not always a bad thing because we're going to a better place. And that is clearly the case with George Raveling, who was a great, great man. My condolences to the Raveling family for all that he's meant to so many people, but especially to them, all the great things that he's done, all the lives that he's touched over the years. The basketball community is in mourning, as it should be, losing such a great individual. But even though he's gone, he will never be forgotten. George Raveling, gone at the age of 88. Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen A. signing off. Peace and love.